hey, it's there in the Metal Theologian. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm going to show today. We'll see what's here. We're winging it this time. First public service announcement though, and there's a brand new reissue of this. Now if you collect your new wave of British heavy metal shit, you've probably heard of this record. It's I don't know, you know, they pressed, it was about a 500 run I think originally, but this thing never turns up. Like, there are lots of 500 runs that, you know, none of them are easy to find, right? But it's like, this one for some reason is monstrously rare. So, I don't think I've ever seen an original offered for sale, in fact. Maybe way back, like 20 years ago on a vinyl tap list, but I'm not even sure. So anyway, this is a brand new reissue by Buried by Time and Dust. And if y'all collect this sort of thing, you probably know that Buried by Time and Dust is pretty much the shit. So, yeah, I'm friendly with the dude who runs the label, so happy to, like, support him, too. So, you can, like, buy a great record and feel really good about it, too, man. So, yeah, this is really cool, man. It's like, if Wishbone Ash were a little bit heavier, which, I don't know, by 1980, maybe they already were. Who the fuck knows, but... Yeah, so here's another one I don't know if I've ever seen anyone show before. I pulled out. I kind of forgot I had this. This is some weirdo, like, little mini comp. It's a 45 called Thwack. 4 kicks in the right direction. And I'm pretty sure I got this because I heard that, like, there was a little bit of metal on here. And this one band, Harlequin, is kind of metal-y. But overall, this is kind of more like... I don't know, New Wave makes it sound wimpier than it is. Punk makes it sound more raucous than it is. It really just kind of like hard rock stuff with, you know, a little bit of that stuff mixed in, but not so much that, you know, any one of those designations dominates the songs, if that makes sense. I might throw it on after this for a minute, just for chuckles, but, it's not tremendous. Like, I don't think this record's very easy to find, but I don't think anyone gives a shit about it either. So, like, you may have to hunt for it, but if you do find it, you probably won't pay a lot for it. It's kind of one of those, you know? It's an interesting piece. It's not as interesting as Kent Rocks or something like that, but, you know, it's kind of interesting. So what else do we have to show here? Actually, I've been playing a lot of shit, and you know, I've been trying to put together a video for, like, best records of 1986, and I'll tell you, I've been having a lot of trouble because there's so many records that I love from 1986, but it's hard to pick out single records I'm finding and say, this one is great for this reason, this one is great for this reason, you know what I mean? And I feel like if I just say, okay, Pleasure to Kill, Eternal Devastation, Obsessed by Cruelty, that I'm just sort of, you know, the Living Death record from that year, Back to the Weapons, you know, that I'm just sort of piling up these records that are all kind of basically the same style, and I do love them, you know, they're my favorite records, but I don't know if I'm really, like, adding much to the conversation by discussing that, you know what I mean? Like with 1984, which is the only one of these I actually got off my ass and fucking did, but with that one it seemed like there was enough sort of variety that I could kind of challenge some of the sacred cows in that, but, this is, we'll see where it goes. Have a little more trouble, but... I actually almost completely forgot about this. I'm bringing back So to Speak for a couple videos here, because I actually found a couple local ones. This isn't one of them, I don't think. This is... Where's this bottles? So some from the 1920s. Yeah, I don't see an address. And it has high fructose corn syrup, so we'll see. But yeah, Utica, New York, Matt Brewing Company. But I've never had a black cherry cream. The next 2 sodas are from Georgia that you're gonna see here. So, but let's bust this one out. Hope I don't fucking splash this on my records. Yeah, so black cherry cream. I don't know what that is, but I like cream soda. I like orange cream soda. So we're giving this a shot. Very boogie-ish, you know what I mean? You can kind of tell this is really coming right out of the 70s. I mean, it's pretty obvious anyway on this record, you know? It's like, it's 1980, barely, you know? But it's a really cool record, man, if you can accept it on those terms, you know. If you expect a record called Let Battle Commence by Warrior to sound like Hail to England by Manowar, you're going to be disappointed. But if you want to hear a really cool new wave British heavy metal record, then cheers. Now back to the topic at hand. Very, very fruity cherry flavor. I'm not getting very much cream, but there's an intense fruitiness that sort of has a little bit of a mellow sheen over it, if that makes sense. Like, it's an intense fruitiness, but it's not like if you're drinking like a Welch's, where it's just like, bam, strawberry soda or whatever it is, you know? There's like this extra sort of factor on top of it that I wouldn't have necessarily identified as, you know, cream, let alone a cream soda flavor. But it changes the impact of the soda. It's a really nice soda, actually, which is, I'm glad, because I got a 6-pack of these fuckers. You know, go big or go home, right? Yeah, this is really good. If you don't like cherry soda, you're not going to like this. Very different from, say, a cheer wine, too, even though they both sort of fundamentally have that cherry flavor to it, so. Yeah, it's an interesting soda. So, what are we going to show? Let's show up 12 inches real quick. Just so I happen to bust them out, so they're right here. Shit, my shit's falling all over the place. Yes, I pulled this one out, man. Shoot Her Down by Gravedigger. And it's fucking great. I think the song was actually on the US press of, if either Heavy Metal Breakdown or, what's the one called? Witch Hunter, I think it is. Fuck, I can picture the cover on his face with that title. Anyway, one of the first two Gravedigger records, but, the noise version came out. It was a 12-inch, and that's fucking fantastic, man. Primary Gravedigger. I don't really know what they were thinking with that cover, but it's great, man. Fucking hard. That great singer. And actually, it went really well coming right after this one. It's the fucking Victim of State's Power 12-inch by Running Wild. Man, I remember seeing this in the store when it came out. Long time ago. Yeah, this also has a couple non-LP tracks on it. Walpurgis Night and Satan. What a great night. What a great title for a song, right? Satan. So fucking simple. Yeah, I was really stoked to get this, actually, because long ago I had Gates of Purgatory on CD before I went and upgraded it to record. And I had those two songs on as bonus tracks on there, but the fidelity was absolute shit on the CD. Like, the album sounded okay, right? But it's like there were like dropouts and shit in the sound, and like just crackling and shit, and they were almost unlistenable on that CD. I don't know what the hell happened there, but this thing sounds awesome. I mean, it's 12-inch mastered at 45. It's hot. This one actually was so hot that I felt like that little fucking, the Atlantic Executives kid who was playing the first pressing of a Led Zeppelin 2, according to legend. So, because this thing started skipping on me, and I was like, what the fuck, you know? And I like looked at it, and it wasn't like a little bump. It was like it got to a certain point, and then it sort of. So I was like, fuck, man, set the needle a little bit harder. And plays right through, and it's fucking loud, man, at a relatively low level, just because there's so much music in those grooves, you know? So, yeah, super good stuff, man. So let's see, what else? Sort of after the last video where I was talking about some of the more droney shit, I pulled this one out. This is kind of... I always said the dark horse of the Tangerine Dream catalog for me, but that implies that it's like this sort of gem that is underappreciated, and sort of the opposite is what I intend to say about it, because I've never really cared for this one particularly. But, you know, so I played it this morning, and I did enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's cool. It's like, I don't know, you know, it's a lot like Cyborg, which I love. I just don't like this record as much. So maybe someday I'll come around and it'll click. You know, for what it is, it's cool. You know, if you like droning electronic music with a lot of cellos in it, I mean, literally like 4 cellists and shit, then, you know, it's definitely an interesting record. But if you don't know Tangerine Dream, you should still check out Electronic Meditation first. That one and Alpha Centauri are godly. What else do we have here? Here's one that's been spending a little time on my record player lately. Yeah, kind of an obvious one, man. But the fact is, I played this so much when it came out. I was so into this record. And, you know, it's funny, putting it up against Master of Puppets from the same year. It's hard for me to say which one I like more. I think the great moments on Master of Puppets are probably greater than the great moments here. But the bad parts of Master of Puppets are a lot more tedious and sort of taxing than this. Like, this record, when it's done, you're like, yeah, you know what I mean? When Master of Puppets is over, you're like, oh, finally, fucking Orion, my ass. I mean, Damage Incorporated is a great album closer, right? But after Orion, you're just like, man, I'm fucking done with this bullshit. Now, I think I Ain't Superstitious is an embarrassingly crappy cover on this thing. I really do. Like, a metal band doing an old blues number and, like, adding some lyrics that could sneak in the F word and shit. And, I mean, I swear, it's not about that, but it just seems so hokey and corny that... And it kind of makes me cringe a little bit. But on the other hand, man, on top of just there being great songs like fucking Wake Up Dead, The Conjuring, Bad Omen, My Last Words, even Peace Sells with the video and all the hype that got, I can still listen to that song any day of the week, man. I could give you 20 reasons to hate this record, but you know something? I fucking love it anyway. And of course, reason number 1 is right there. But I made my peace with that shit. I probably talked before about how Megadeth was one of the few bands where when I saw them live, I walked out liking them less than when I walked in. Because I thought he was such a prick. Because when they were touring on So Far So Good So What, which, you know, is a record that sounds like it was recorded drunk. But I don't know, man. It's an awesome fucking record. It's a very disciplined record, though, compared to this thing. Was just fucking batshit, man. I really think this might be the craziest Voivod record. Kind of has the craziest band pictures, for one thing. I mean, look at fucking Snake and Blackie alone, you know? Are just fucking awesome. But this record is just such a fucking noisy beast of a record, you know? And then it's over before you know it. It's like, it's fucking beating you over the head with all this shit that's, like, hard to, like, take in because, like, the writing is so complicated and shit. And it's like, you're listening to it and going, fuck, man, this is great. And, like, it's sort of unfolding and then it's over, you know? It's like, goddamn, man. You know, when a lot of times it seems like when a record is as challenging as this record is, because this is a hard record to get into, that... You know, when you're done with it, you're fucking done. But not this one, man. This one manages to somehow beat you over the head and confuse the fuck out of you, and then leave you wanting more anyway. So, very, very awesome Voivod record. Maybe a little bit of a sleeper, too. There are a lot of Nothing Face fans. There are a lot of Killing Technology fans. A lot of fans of the first album, it seems. I don't know if this one gets quite as much love, although I'm not going to go as far as to say it's... you know, a hidden gem in the catalog or something. I think anyone who knows Voivod and more than passing is going to know this record. It's just so ferocious, man. It's really incredible. There's actually a case in point on the 1986 list, you know what I mean? On the one hand, I want to put it in because it's fucking Voivod, and I love Voivod so much, right? On the other hand, it's kind of hard to put something like this in there because it's just fucking monstrous, man. I don't know. I can't articulate any better than that right now. So I gotta tip my hat again to Mr. Chromium Dioxide Radio, who recently, in the context of the No Fun After Midnight 12-inch, gave a little bit of hype to this record, the first LP by A2Z. One of the worst band names ever. And I've always kind of saluted them for making their debut album a live album, just because that's such a kind of crazy thing to do that I kind of love it. Yeah, it's funny, I thought it was shit until like I got into the MC5, and then I was like, you know, that's actually kind of awesome. And then, who else did it? Fucking Vardis. Their first record is a live record, too. And it's really good, man. It's the best thing they ever did. Anyway, this record I've always found to be lame. I put this on... I mean, I've had this record for close to 20 years, probably. I feel like that number comes up a lot, but that's when I was buying a lot of this new wave shit. And it was the early days of eBay, too, so it was when I was scooping up a lot of the stuff I hadn't seen in shops for a while, but it was still cheap online, so... I'm going to stop there, though, because I don't want to make any of the newer collectors feel overly demoralized or anything. Anyhow, this record finally clicked for me, man. So tip of the hat to Philip, Mr. Chromium Dioxide, because I get it. And this has been in my pile of records where I pull it out once every year or two and put it on and go, maybe this time I'll get it, and I don't. But this time I fucking got it, man. I played it all the way through. I really enjoyed it, and I'm leaving it out so I can play it some more. What a weird cover, too, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a cover with nudity on it that was less hot than this. And I'm including records that are, like, poorly drawn and shit like that. So in case you don't know, the two Trouble records that came out on Deaf American, so the self-titled one and Manic Frustration, those are finally getting repress on record in the not-too-distant future. Hammerheart's doing them, and I know they're not taking pre-orders directly, but you can find other places that'll be happy to take your money if you want to go that route. So I'm all like sort of getting myself psyched up for and in the mood, so I pulled this one out again, and actually I pulled out Run to the Light, too. And Run to the Light has kind of been my favorite one for a while now, but you know, this was the first Trouble record that I really connected with way back in the 80s, and I'm kind of thinking I might be coming back around to this one again. So we'll see. I mean, I realize the later records are kind of different, which is why I kind of shied away from them back then. Now I'm stoked to hear the shit, but we'll see what kind of preparation this turns out to have been. You know, maybe I'll need to do like a whole like career summary or retrospective or some bullshit like that after I've gone through. But you know, again, fantastic record, man. Super doomy. And one thing I gotta admit that tickles me about this record, okay? Now, I think it's pretty well known by this point that this was sort of a Jesus band, but it was a fake Jesus band, right? Maybe the only band in history ever to have done that, to like be, you know, because none of the satanic bands meant it, right? They were full of shit. But like, this is the only Christian band I'm aware of that was full of shit. And it was just kind of gimmick. So, there's a song on there called Pray for the Dead. And what's funny about that is that praying for the dead is so not a Protestant thing to do. I mean, I'm sure they're denominations, so I'm not going to like sit here and press that point too hard, but that's something I think of as a Catholic or Orthodox thing. But they're not really the ones who make Jesus metal records. It's pretty much always the Protestants. So, got a little bit of a disconnect there between at least what my expectations would be and what the record delivers. But you know something? I'm not complaining because the way they fucking deliver that song is so good. I mean, that was literally the first Trouble song where I went like, wow, there's something really special going on with this band. So if I said anything else about it, I'd be shitting where I eat. Now here's one I pulled out to play again. It's been a while since I played this one, and I actually haven't played it yet, but we're going to do this right fucking now. Watch this. clean it, but I didn't, so how long is it going to take you to figure out what it is? Shouldn't be more than a second. Come on, y'all know that riff, right, collectors? That's right. This is the mighty villain. Only time will tell. Kind of a lame title, but fucking villain is a great name. It's a great logo. And you gotta love these like corny ass like computer sort of fonts there. So yeah, I could have done without the Queen cover. Although if they were gonna pick one, Tie Your Mother Down is a pretty good choice, really. I just don't think they needed a Queen cover. 6 songs would have been plenty, you know. And this is my favorite song on the record. Always has been, Kamikaze. But you know something? Kids of Crime is great. She'll Make You Fall in Love is great. Yeah, I love this record, man. And if you don't know him for any other reasons, had Mr. Carl Albert before his Vicious Rumors days. And before he died, too, but that part was probably obvious. Although Bela Lugosi pulled it off, maybe Carl Albert could have too. Alright, so here's another one that kind of surprised me. And you know, I'm not actually going to recommend this record. I pulled this out for probably the first time since about 1990 when I actually bought this copy. Now, when this album came out in 86, I think? Maybe 87, but I think 86. I played it a lot, and I loved it. But, like, as time has gone on, I've gotten a lot more hostile to the sort of 80s moves, especially the synth sounds and shit on this record. And so I kind of went and shied away from the House of Blue Light. I've always kept a copy because this is my very first show I ever went to is Deep Purple on this tour in early 1987. And to this day, I'm fucking so grateful to have had a chance to see them. Literally my last chance to see them with the classic lineup. Anyway, I put this on. I was totally expecting to hate it. I fucking loved it. I really did. And yeah, there's some of that corny shit on here, but I'll tell you something, man. What I was hearing on this was the fucking songs that I remembered loving, and yeah, there's a little bit of that 80s cheese, but I was all set for it to sound like, you know, a fucking Black and Blue album or something, and it didn't. It still sounds like a Deep Purple record. It sounds like a Deep Purple record where they're trying to recapture the magic from Perfect Strangers and not quite succeeding, so it's not quite as good a record. But if you compare the drop-off to Who Do We Think We Are from Machine Head in the 70s with the drop-off between Perfect Strangers and this record, I think the House of Blue Light comes out looking pretty fucking good, because I'll listen to this. I think it's a way more enjoyable record than Who Do We Think We Are. Anyway, even without being next to such a great record, you know? In the chronology, I mean. Because I maintain that Perfect Strangers is probably the best comeback album I've ever heard. Like, you know, bands will have great... I mean, shit, look at this. This is a fucking comeback record. Played this recently, too. It's tremendous. I love this record, man. Every fucking song. I swear, I'd probably give this record a 10 out of 10. Okay, no shit. But for having been away for a long time, for having the band fall apart the way it did, and all the bad blood, and somehow managing to come back, and not just come back and play well, but come back and write a record like Perfect Strangers. It's really hard to argue with that. In fact, I might actually like this record more than Perfect Strangers, but I would still say that Perfect Strangers is a better comeback album. So take from that what you will, man. That's like my little bit of metal theologian philosophizing for the day, right? I already talked about religion for a second, you know, so hey. see what else we got here. Yeah, I'll leave that stack, because that's the 1986 ones. Okay, so it's funny, I've kind of been listening to a lot of American thrash and digging it, and for that reason I pulled this one out and really enjoyed it a lot. These, after the first two Accuser records, and to a certain degree the third one, have that German magic. Especially the first one, man. I love that record. But, you know, Who Dominates Who? Great record. And I'm spacing the title of the EP between those two, but also, this one, that kind of German magic is gone. It might be pushing it a little bit too far to say that this sounds like an American record, but if I told you this was an American band, you would have no problem believing it. If I just played it for you and didn't hear it. If you're not, like, needing to scratch that German itch, awesome record. Very cool, man. The songs are all good, and I always appreciate the fact that it's not too many songs, you know? Because I don't need 10,000 fucking bonus tracks. So, I think we're going to leave it there. Let me just show one more to close it out with. Well, here, since I talked about having played this one, there it is. Hell, I even went here as far as getting myself ready for that Doom shit. It's going to be a doomy fall once those fucking troubles come, man. Not to overhype, but finally, I think I'll end it with this one because it's another great comeback record. Although this is a comeback record that was pretty different from everything that came before it, by being a lot doomier. Awesome record, man. Super dark. Monotheist by Celtic Frost. Sort of a swan song, I guess, but man, what a beautiful swan song. It's not very often I can sit down and listen to two records like this and like enjoy it so much all the way through. Yeah, it's another record where I'm really grateful to have the chance to see them when they were touring on it. Probably told this story 100 times, but I saw them at the Fillmore in San Francisco, and there were 3 opening acts, but the band that went right on before them was Sun, or Sun O, and like when they came out with all the smoke and like the fucking dark lights, and they were wearing the robes and then playing like I've never seen so many middle fingers in the air at a show, man. Half the fucking audience had their middle fingers in the air. And that was when I decided I liked that band. Because even though it's really not the sort of thing I would come home and listen to, like, if you're able to elicit that kind of response, you elicit my respect. I have just a tiny bit of a soft spot for Michael Bolton for the same reason, too, I'll be honest. I hate the fucker, don't get me wrong, but everyone hates Michael Bolton so much that I kind of gotta respect him a little bit for that, because, I mean, what's great art about if it's not about making you feel, right? If it makes you feel intense hatred, it's making you feel something, isn't it? It's more than I can say for fucking Foreigner or Journey or half that other horse shit that's out there, so, yeah. Alright. Thanks for watching. I have spoken.